Hello again everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Comic Kid here again, and today we will be looking at some specific differences between Mattel's DC Universe line, or DC Multiverse, and the McFarlane DC Multiverse line. Now, I do have the Dick Grayson version of Mattel's Batman here, and the reason I picked him is he's one of the last Batman figures Mattel ever did. And on the right, we have one of the first Batman figures that McFarlane ever did. They did release a few others in the line, but this is like the standard comic book version, and this Dick Grayson Batman is obviously from the comics as well. And so I thought these two would make good bases for the general features and traits of both of them. Now, right off the bat, you'll notice that they're about the same size here, but the McFarlane one is definitely taller when he's standing straight. Mattel is scaled at the average and like most popular 6-inch scale, and the McFarlane ones are scaled up a little bit more. They're either 6.75 or 7 inches exactly, I'm not exactly sure, but do know a lot of people were upset when they announced that they weren't going to be a 6-inch line. Because the McFarlane ones are a bit taller, they scale more with the like DC Essentials line, or like the Diamond Select ones, rather than the Mattel figures that you might already have, or like the Hasbro Marvel Legends line. So scale is one of the more immediate details, but as far as like sculpt goes, I would definitely say that McFarlane totally blows Mattel out of the water in this case, and I'm not sure why so many people are hating on the sculpts. Like, for a first go at it, they're pretty good, in my opinion at least. To be fair, like, there is still room for improvement, but, I mean, it's their first wave, it's their first go, and when you compare it to Mattel's last wave, like, I don't understand a lot of the hate around the McFarlane stuff. Like, you have awkward shoulders, you have a lip there, awkward hips, that he gets like super skinny right there and then just kind of comes out again. I really don't get a lot of the hate for McFarlane sculpts. You do notice he's got actually some sculpted detail in the legs there. It's like a textured pattern, and it's on the sides as well. And again, like I said, it's not perfect. His shoulders are a little broad, which I guess would work for a character like Batman. It's just a little bit too much in my opinion. But general sculpting, I'd say, is far, far better than Mattel. You'll also notice that the posability is a bit more advanced. The McFarlane one has toe joints and then an ankle ball joint there, and that provides for a lot of additional motion, a bit more dynamic of a pose. He has the same ball joint in the wrist there, double jointed elbows. He's got a joint there for the torso and one that connects under the belt, so you get some surprisingly good ab range. It's not the best, but it's not bad either. And then the Mattel one, on the other hand, only has a single spin foot. It can't really go anywhere else. There's no toe joint. He does have double jointed knees. A lot of Mattel figures didn't have that for the longest time, but they added it to most of their figures during the end. And then some of their figures at the very end also had double jointed elbows, but for whatever reason their Batman didn't. And I really have no idea why their Batman didn't have double jointed elbows, but it doesn't. And then he has single jointed wrists as well. And aside from that, they're pretty standard. Oh, the other thing, most McFarlane figures have that shoulder joint tucked away there. It's not quite as good as Hasbro's, but it does allow for a little bit of extra range of motion there, and so I think it's worth noting. I don't think Mattel ever included any sort of like butterfly shoulder joint on any of their figures, no matter how big or small. And so as far as articulation goes, I'd say McFarlane again is the winner here. Now, in regards to accessories, it's a little weird. Both of them definitely have more accessories than like the DC Essentials figures do. Mattel had a tendency to like overcrowd some of their figures with accessories, and it's like, how can they use or hold any of that at all times? One of my biggest complaints with their Red Hood figure was that he came with hands for guns, but no guns to hold in those gun hands, and I was like, why would you include that? And at the moment, McFarlane has come with some like base accessories. His Batman does come with a Batarang there, he does come with a grapnel gun, and that's really about it. The McFarlane Superman one comes with an alternate pair of hands, and so you're getting some reasonable accessories. I'm just not sure how big a role the accessories will play for McFarlane in the future. I definitely think there's room for more, but I also don't exactly feel like they're like slacking on accessories. So as far as accessories go, I feel like it's kind of a tie now. One thing that I do really like about the McFarlane ones is that each of them comes with a stand, and they also have all come with a trading card, or at least the comic book versions have. And I'm not sure why the trading card is so necessary, but I do really like how each of them comes with a stand. I do think that's a great addition, and that is a major plus and something I wish a lot of Hasbro figures would do. Some Mattel figures would come with a stand. I know I got some in like some older ones, but I don't think any when they were like the DC Universe line. But ever since they switched to DC Multiverse, I don't think any of the ones I have come with a stand. So there's that as well. And then the capes are another major difference between the two. So you can see McFarlane has a like soft plastic cape that's kind of sculpted around, whereas Mattel just has the standard cloth. Personally, I don't care which like a toy company would use as long as it fits the figure, and I feel like the Mattel one just definitely does not fit. I think the cape looks and feels very cheap. I just don't think there's a lot to it. I like that it flows, but I wish it came up on the shoulders much more. Like, I don't really care for the cape. And I've heard a lot of people complain about the McFarlane one, especially because it's sculpted down over the shoulders like that, and so it really limits his arm movement. But the cape itself, for being sculpted plastic, does look pretty good in my opinion. McFarlane Toys supposedly prides themselves on the way they do capes, and I definitely think they kind of earned it. Both the Batman and Superman capes that I have look really good. And I definitely paint with hard plastic, but at the same time, like, it is a character like Batman. We're gonna get like a bunch more versions over the course of McFarlane's contract with DC, and so I'm sure at some point down the line we'll get a Batman figure that doesn't have the cape that's so over the shoulders like that. And then as far as paint goes, I'd say that they're pretty evenly matched. I don't think there were any major paint issues with my Dick Grayson Batman. The head's a little shinier than other parts of the suit, especially with like the other blues, and so it's not like a super complicated paint job. There are still a few issues, but nothing too noticeable. There wasn't really anything too noticeable about my McFarlane one either. The face could have used a little bit of some like cleaner lines, but that was really all that I noticed for him. I do wish that McFarlane was a little more consistent with their blacks, because the Batman, like some of the pieces on Batman are like a kind of like grayish blue, like a deep gray. I don't know, but the symbol is noticeably darker than the other parts of the costume, and that's not a huge deal for me. It's not like a deal breaker by any means. I just wish they'd commit to a bit of a darker black. That's totally just my opinion, though. But yeah, in case it isn't obvious, I definitely feel like McFarlane is a significant improvement from Mattel. And don't get me wrong, they're not perfect quite yet. I'll probably do a McFarlane versus Hasbro at some point in the near future. But a lot of people have been kind of complaining about McFarlane, and I understand a lot of the gripes. I just don't get why some people are so unhappy still when this is what's following this. I just think McFarlane has done such a good job, especially for their first try, and I think they've already blown Mattel out of the water. And like I said, there's still a lot of room for improvement, but I am looking forward to seeing what the company does with the DC line in the future. But yeah, that is everything for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to click like and subscribe, and I will see you guys again real soon.